Okay, so this is week 4, Wednesday, quarter 4, math 6 on geometry. And today we're going to go over what looks like the net and then also surface area and perhaps volume of 3D figures. All right, question number 1. Go ahead and read it, please.
Identify each shape and explain why you named it.
Okay, so remember I asked you for the base first. What shape is the base? Is a pentagon. If I write this down, you better write this down too. And then with your highlighter, I want you to accentuate this with the points. Do you see how I'm accentuating this? Base is a pentagon. Now, I want to ask you, what do you think about the top? Is it pointy or not pointy? If it is pointy, then you know it is going to be some form of a pyramid, right? Remember, if it is, and just as a side note, if it's not pointy, then what is it going to be? There you go. That means there's going to be another base on top here somewhere that looks exactly the same. Like if this is what you have here, right? And let's say you have another one. You'll have the base, top, and bottom, right? And the only thing that's connecting it is like that. Does not make sense. I totally screwed that up. Hold on. This goes here, this goes like that, right? That'll be a prism. Because you see how this one, there's one base and there's a same base on the bottom, right? That's called a prism, okay? So because this is pointy, it's a pyramid. So you can just say this is now called a what? Pentagonal pyramid. So make sure you have that written down. And did you accentuate it? Because I will be tracking because you have a tendency of not doing it. Okay? Okay, now let's take a look at this one. What's your base? Is what shaped? Triangle, right? And the top is? It's not pointy. Make sure you put, there is another triangle on top, right? Which means it's going to be a prism, right? I want you to accentuate this triangle right there. And I also want you to accentuate this other triangle right here, the top part right there. Okay, so make sure you have 2. Do you have that? Now that there are 2 identical sides, there are 2 identical bases that are triangles, not sides. Do you understand? So the sides to this triangle will be, I'm just going to put it right here. Do you see this side right here on the side, that right there? That's like literally right here. Do you see that? Okay, that's one side. Another side of this is the base, the bottom right here. That is like right there. Do you see that? That's a side. Like if I'm just removing like the pieces of it, and then there is a glass that's right on top of it. That's literally laying, this is like literally laying right here on top of it. Do you see that? Okay, those are the sides, okay? The triangle are the bases, okay? The shape, like the pentagon, the triangle, the rectangle, the circle, those are the bases. Do you understand me? Okay, number 2, go ahead and read that, please. Good. Okay, you got to include the dimensions, which means you got to label them. Okay, so this is good so far. This is your base, right? So when you're labeling the base, you're going to put 8 feet, 8 feet. Those are the dimensions, right? Then from there, you're going to extend it out. I'm glad that you did that. So you have this piece right here, this piece right here. This needs to be a little bit longer. This piece right here and this piece right here, okay? Now, it actually doesn't tell you how long these sides are. Do you see that? The 10 is this piece right here. Do you see that purple piece right there? So what is that going to be?
Oh, that's really bad for you. You're a horrible person.
Did you already have one?
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, I want you to go play your piano a few more times, then you can have it. You can have one too later, not right now. Now, this, okay, you gotta pay attention to this, Grayson. Okay, so that 10 is not the side right here. It's not the green side. Do you see that? That's not it. You gotta think of this way. If you're to draw a triangle, do you see a triangle that's cut inside there? Do you see that triangle? This is 10. This part here, what is this part gonna be? This orange part right here, what is that gonna be? Which is this part? Now, you know this entire thing is 8, so what's half of 8? 4, right? So then this side right here, the slant right here, which is this red piece right here. Do you see this red piece right here? That red piece is this piece right here, okay? So you gotta use the Pythagorean theorem to find that piece. So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna do 100 plus 16 equals, we're just gonna put this as c squared. So 116 square root equals c. So just write this down. Okay, your teacher haven't taught you that, but if we're gonna write it down, that's what it would be, okay? Feet, put feet next to it, okay? Okay, B, what does it ask you to do? What does it ask you to do? Draw the figure represented by this nut, right? Okay, it's gonna be shape of a can. Shape of a can. You need to write that down. So I'm gonna draw like this, similar like that. You need to redraw your picture right there. And we're gonna label the dimensions. Are you ready? What are some of the pieces that's affiliated with this can? What is this thing called? What is that? Height. And what is this thing called? Radius. You need to have those two things to find the surface area and then also for the volume. Okay, so that's where I'm going to label it. Did you label it? Okay. Number 3, read the question, please.
Explain why the volume of a prism can be found by taking the area of the base times height.
Okay, what did you write? Read it.
My question doesn't match. My answer doesn't match.
If you're not sure, Google it. Okay. Okay, and look here. The volume of prism can be found by multiplying the area of the base by the height of the prism because, and there's an explanation, the volume of a prism is the product of these two dimensions. Do you see that? This is what you need to write. So if you're not sure, you could do that. And that makes sense, Grayson, because when you're taking the volume and you're basically like multiplying by the height, it's like you're stacking all the circles on top of each other. Does that make sense? And if you stack a bunch of circles together, then what is it going to give you? It's going to give you a higher and higher can, right? So this is your answer right here. So you could think, example, stacking circles on top of each other to create the can. Okay, so right next to this part, think of it like this. It's kind of like you have the area of the circle. Can't see that. Hold on. Right? And then we'll stack another circle, stack another circle, stack another circle, another circle, another circle. And you're basically just stacking a bunch of circles together. Right? And we're going to label this as, I want you to write it as this part, which is the area of base, okay, times height equals volume. So write that down, okay? Grayson, you're going first to Catherine for piano today. She requested it. So you have 45 minutes and then you have the last 15. Who keeps on messaging you on Discord that has an Asian name? Huh? Okay. No, go back.
Yeah.
It's just right here. I can't see anything. It just says right here. Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
All right. All right.
Does that not take a bit too?
It does. I'm gonna take her in a few minutes. Did you ever share the thing with Josephine?
Nothing.
The link?
What's
The link to the videos. Okay, well, if you want to, you can, okay? All right, let's take a look at number 4. You can go back to the other one, okay? But I have to get going soon. So what does it ask you to do?
Find the volume and surface area. Draw each face to help you find the surface area.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the volumes be easier to find because you just find the reason why it's easier to find is volume of this. What shape is this? Triangular prism, right? Because there's 2 base. Do you see how there's a 1 base right here? And there's the same base on top and it's not pointy, right? So the way that you do this is you simply find the area of the base. And remember, your base is a shape of a what now? Triangle times what? The height. So first things first, let's find the area of the triangle. So I'm just gonna rotate this triangle so it's a little bit easier to see, okay? This is 5, this is 12, that's 17. Does that look correct? Are the numbers matching your paper? Because mine's a little bit like distorted because of the picture. Okay, so how do you find the area of a base? Area of a base is 1/2 base times height, right? Let's label. Which one is your base from this triangle? You have 3 numbers. What number is the base? That's the smallest number. No. Is that 4 or is that 5? 5. Which one's the height?
6 centimeters.
What? No. Height of the area of the base, the triangle. This is the height. This is the capital height. The capital H is going to be the height of what? The prism. Capital H is going to be the height of the entire prism, right? Little h is the height of the base, which is a triangle. Does that make sense? You got to make sure you know the difference of the two. So 1/2, 5 times 12. Now, remember how I told you, half of 12 is what? 6 times 5 is?
30, yeah.
60. Now, height is the height of the prism. What is your height of the prism?
5 times 6 is 30.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is 30. Okay. What's the height of the prism? Capital H, height of the prism.
Oh,
8. Isn't it 8 right here?
no, 6 centimeters.
Is that 6 or 8?
6.
6, okay. 30 times 6 is 180. That's your volume. What's the centimeters cubed? I want you to box this on your paper right now. And later today, when I take Emma to her class, I want you to sit here and look at the PowerPoint and make sure you copy the rest down. Do you understand? Okay, write that down. Did you write it down? Okay, let's hurry it up, please. It says volume right there, so it's not 50. That's incorrect. Okay, next we need to find what? Surface area, right? The first one that we did was we found volume, correct? Next, we're going to do surface area, right? Surface area of a triangular prism. You got to think about, like, you're basically wrapping. Think about wrapping paper. Like, you're going to wrap all the sides together, okay? So include all sides, right? Or all sides and faces, okay? So let's start off with the base. Do you see how the base right there, there's 2 of them? Do you see that? So I'm going to start off with the area of the base. And there's 2 of them, right? Didn't we find the area of the base on the last one? What was it? Wasn't it 30? Yeah, it was 30. So the area of the base is 30 times 2, because there's 2 of them, which is 60, right? Then you got to add, okay, all the other sides. Do you see the other side surrounding this? You see how this right here is a side? Do you see that right there? So if I were to take this out, so you can see it, isn't this 12 and isn't this 6 right there? Is that 6 or 8? Is that 6? Okay, 12 times 6 is going to give me what? $32, right?
Yeah.
Then, do you see how you have another side right here? Do you see that? Okay, now this side, you got to figure out what the sides are. This side right here is 5. Do you see that? How tall is this? What is this side going to be right here? Yeah, so this is side 1 plus side 2. Side 2 is 6 times 5, which is 30, right? And then the very last side plus side 3. The last side you can't really see, mainly because it's on the other side of this. It's like literally right here. Do you see the side? Like if I were to take this and just shovel it down, do you see how it's there? Okay. Now with this side, this length right here, that 17 is right here. Do you see that? And then how tall it is 6. Do you see that? So to do 17 times 6. Grab your calculator. What's 17 times 6?
102.
Okay, now you gotta add everything together. So grab your calculator. 60, which is area of the 2 bases, right? Plus side 1, side 2, side 3. What's your answer? That's not what I got. Try again.
72 plus 30.
No, you forgot. Don't forget the 60. You gotta forget the 2 triangles. 60 plus 72 plus 30 plus 102. What do you have? What do you have?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, take your time. Emma, are you singing? She's so funny, isn't she? What's your answer?
264.
Good. Surface area, centimeters squared. So what I'm boxing, you better write it down. Write it down. And when I go to class with Emma, I want you to copy the rest down. Do you understand? Do not miss any of the information that I'm copying down. You need to have everything there, okay? Are we good? Okay, number 6. What is it asking you to find? Okay, so what shape is this first off? It's not a triangular pyramid because the area is what? The base is what? Base is a square and the top is pointy. So what does that mean? It's just a pyramid. A pyramid has a square base, Grayson. Okay. Okay, so do you want to find volume or surface area first? Okay, surface area means you basically find the area of the base, right? And there's only one, so you don't need to multiply by 2. And then plus side 1 triangle, side 2 triangle. How many triangles do they have that's on the side of the square? Isn't there 4? Yeah? Okay. So area of the base. So that should be fairly easy. The area of the base is just a square, which is 12 by 12. 12 times 12 is 244, right? And you don't need to multiply by 2 because there's just one. It's a pyramid, right? The other ones are a little bit harder to find. Your first triangle is this triangle right here. Do you see this triangle right here? That's in orange, so I'm gonna put it right there, okay? That's 12 on the bottom. See. I'm assuming this is a regular triangle. And so then, therefore, this right here is 10. Although I'm not 100% sure because it doesn't say that. It does give me that this line right here, the altitude is 8. So if I draw a triangle from here to here, which is this triangle right here, this side right here will be the height of this triangle. That is going to be 10. This is going to be 6. Or no, I'm sorry. This is going to be 8. Which means 36, 64, that's indeed 10. So this is 10, okay? Area of this is going to be 1/2 base, which is 12, height, which is 10, right? This is confusing. It's not easy. 12 times 10. What's half of 12? 6. 6 times 10 is 60. That's the first triangle, right? Do you see how there's also a back triangle right there that's the same shape as the orange one? Like there's one in the front and there's another one on the back, right? So this is the front and this is the back. Well, the back is exactly the same. So that's 62, right? Now it gets a little bit weird. So stay with me here. Then you have the triangle that's on the side, right? Do you see that right there? So this is the right side. And well, your right side triangle is going to be exactly the same. And the reason I know it's exactly the same is because you see how this is 12 and it's also 10 right there. So that's also 60. And then this is your left side, right? Because remember when we put this together, there's one here, one here, one here, one here, right? So then this is the top, or sorry, back, front, right, left. Do you see that? You need to draw that net, okay? Plus 60. So grab your calculator. Your surface area is going to be 144 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60. Centimeters squared, and that is your answer. So make sure you copy that part down. Okay. The volume of a pyramid is a little bit different because this is not going to be the same as like the other volume where you basically just do the area of the base times the height. And the reason for we can't just do that is because do you see at the top it gets smaller and smaller because it gets pointier and pointier? So you can't do that. Okay, there's no two bases. So then let's just Google this. We're gonna go to new share. I'm gonna go to Google. And now we're just gonna say, what is the volume of a pyramid? Just really trying to find the volume. Oh, it's 1/3. You have the divided by 3. Do you see that? Okay. So it's just the area of the base times the height, but then you have the divided by 3. Why? Because it gets pointy. So it gets smaller on top, right? So let's do that. Area of the base. So take your highlighter, make sure you highlight this. Isn't that just a square? Right? Area is just a square. So 12 times 12 is 144, right? What is the height? You gotta be careful here. The height is not this 10. This 10 right here is called a slanted height. But that's not the height. Did your teacher ever talk to you about slanted height? Okay. The height is going to be 8. Do you see it's a straight height? This 8 right here, that's the height of the pyramid. Do you see that? Okay. So that's going to be times by 8. Okay. Now divided by 3. So go ahead and do that. 144 plus 8. You got to add it first. Divided by 3. What is it? Okay, I gotta go because Emma needs to have her. Okay, so 152. What is divided by 3? I'm your mom. That's a stupid thing to say. What is it?
It's 152.
What's 152 divided by 3?
I didn't do that yet.
I need to grab a calculator right now.
No, I didn't do that.
It's going to be 50.67 centimeters cubed, or you could do 152 over 3, which is also going to be, if you were to do this, 152 over 3. So this is your answer right here. Did you write that down? Make sure you write that down. Okay, well, maybe you'll write it down later, but I need to move on to the next part of this. So hurry up, copy it down, please.
Stop trying with your mouth. I'm not rapping nasty.
Can you please stop?
It's nasty.
If you don't like it, then just ignore him.
Okay.
Okay, next question, read it, please. Number 6.
Find the volume and surface area. Draw each face to help you find the surface area.
Okay, so which one do you want to do first? Okay, if you're gonna find the surface area of a cylinder, remember you have to go ahead and do the net, okay? So if you're doing the net, it'll be like this long rectangle, right? And a circle, right? So to find a surface area, you're gonna have to find the area of the circle or the base, right? And there's 2 of them, right? Plus the area of the rectangle. Do you agree with that? And there's only one of those. So let's find the area of the rectangle first. What is this length here to here of this rectangle?
6 centimeters.
It's 8 centimeters, okay? Now, to figure out how long this part is, this is going to be a little bit weird. You will have to find the circumference of the area of the circle. Do you understand? Because do you see how this right here is a circumference right there? That circumference of the circle is going to give you the length of the rectangle. Do you see that? Circumference is going to be pi times diameter. So that's pi times 6. Do you see that? Because the diameter here is 6, right? So then this right here is the circumference, which is also the length of your rectangle. So your length here is pi times 6 or 6 pi. You should just put 6 pi, okay? So this is not an easy one. So then to find the area of the rectangle, so let's look at that. So here's your rectangle. The length is 6 pi. That's a length, right? Your width is 8. So it's just 6 pi times 8, which is going to be 48 pi. That's your answer right there, okay? Now let's look for the circle. The circle will be easier to find because the area of the circle is just pi r squared. What is your radius of the circle from here to here? Your diameter was 6, so what's your radius? Yeah, so pi times 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9, but then there's 2 of them, right? So that's going to give you 18 pi. Do you see that? You have to add those together. So then your surface area is going to be 18 pi plus 48 pi, which is going to give you 64 pi. And then it's meters squared. That's your surface area. I'm sorry, 66, not 64. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next part. You ready for the next part? Okay, what are we missing right now? That's the surface area. What do we need to find next? Yeah. Okay. Remember, you're going to go back and recopy it down, right? Now we have to find the volume. Okay, the volume is going to be easy. Do you see how there's 2 bases, top and bottom, right? So if it's going to be a pointy top, you always multiply by a 3, or it's the same thing as divided by 3, right? Now, if it's not pointy, which means there are 2 bases, right? Like this one right here, then you don't do anything. You don't need to divide it by anything. So then you do no division. Does that make sense? So then all this is going to be, no, it's 1/3, is area of the base. That's the area of area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Okay. All right, so with that said, area of a base, this will be an easy one. So how do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared, right? What's your radius here? 3 times 3 is 9, right? And you don't need to multiply by 2. You only do multiply by 2 if you're doing surface area, right? So times height. What's your height? 8 times 9 is 72 pi. That's it. Volume is 72 pi meters cubed. And that's it. So this one's a lot easier. Whenever you're doing surface area, you got to do the net, okay? All right, and that concludes everything. And just to kind of go back so that way we know what it is that we did. Today, we went over the surface area and volume of 3D shapes. This is for week 4. Wednesday, quarter 4. Math 6, and its focus is on surface area and volume of 3D shapes. All right, see you next time. You need to